Okay. So today we are going to start May-June 2020 paper 1-1. Okay. So let's start with question number 1. The diagram shows 4 pieces of apparatus that are used to measure the volume of a gas or a liquid. Which piece of apparatus should always be filled to the same level? Okay, just give me a minute. I didn't share the screen. Sorry. Yes. So here is the question. There are 4 apparatus given, and they are asking which apparatus is always filled to the same level. So if you look at the first, second, and third apparatus, all they have a scale on them. So you can fill them at till any level. But the last one have only 1 mark. So you can have to fill always till that mark. So the answer would be A, B, and C are wrong options, and the answer would be D. Is this clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, question number 2. Copper 2 sulfate is prepared by reacting excess copper to carbonate with dilute hydrochloric acid, and here you have a equation as well. Okay. Which 2 pieces of apparatus are needed to obtain copper 2 sulfate crystals by this reaction? Okay. So if you see copper 2 sulfate, what is the state of copper 2 sulfate over there? It's aqueous. So we need 2 things. First, filter funnel to remove the excess copper carbonate, which is our reactant, which is solid, and then the evaporating basin where we evaporate the solution of aqueous copper sulfate to get the crystals. Is this understandable to everyone? So the correct answer would be C. A, B, and D are wrong ones, and the correct answer is C. Yes. Is this clear to everyone? Yes, Asad and Abdullah?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, question number 3. A paper chromatography experiment is carried out to find an RF value of Fe3 positive. The result is shown. Okay. And here we have a spot of Fe3 positive, which traveled X distance from the baseline or the starting line. And we have another mark, that is the solvent film, that is the distance traveled by solvent, which is which distance is distance y, right? Now, to make the spot containing Fe3 positive aqueous more visible, the paper is sprayed with aqueous sodium hydroxide, so the precipitate of iron 3 hydroxide forms. So if you recall, iron 3, we have discussed in paper 4 as well, that when we have to test the iron 3 ions, we add sodium hydroxide, and on adding that, we would get red-brown precipitates. Okay, so the color would be red-brown. Okay. Now, under the conditions of the experiment, the RF of Fe3 positive aqueous is given by, okay, 1. So if I have to find the RF value for Fe3 positive, wouldn't be equal to distance traveled by Fe3 positive ions, which is X divided by the distance traveled by solvent, X over Y. So if we look at this, we can easily mark C and D wrong because here the expression for the RF value is wrong. Now, and the color of the precipitates is 2. So as I just discussed that it's green, sorry, red brown. So here the green given is wrong. So that's why B goes wrong. And A is my correct answer. Is this understandable to everyone? Yes, Hassan, Abdullah, and Asad.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now, let's move to question number 4. Aluminium chloride is dissolved in water and the resulting solution is divided between 3 test tubes. Which rock gives the reagents for 3 tests which could be used to confirm the presence of aluminium chloride? Okay. So for aluminium ion, what we use? We use aqueous sodium hydroxide, and we can use aqueous ammonia as well. To confirm the aluminium ions, if we add aqueous sodium hydroxide, the white precipitate would form. And if we add aqueous ammonia, the white precipitate would also form in aqueous ammonia as well. But when we add excess of aqueous sodium hydroxide, what would happen? That the precipitate dissolves. And in aqueous ammonia, if we add excess aqueous ammonia, the precipitate wouldn't dissolve. So this is the difference that help us to confirm or assure that there is aluminium ion. Okay. And for chloride ion, we need only one test. Okay. So if you see over here, so this is correct. This is correct. But this makes this test wrong because we have to identify the chloride ion, right? And we are adding that chloride ion by adding hydrochloric acid. So if we are adding the chloride ion and then we add silver nitrate, so we ourselves put the chloride in the solution, then we are for sure going to get the white precipitates of silver chloride. So that's why we do not consider A as a correct one. Now, add aqueous sodium hydroxide that can use to test aluminium ion, that is fine. Dilute nitric acid and then silver nitrate, yes, for chloride ion, that is also fine. But again, hydrochloric acid doesn't give you any test over here because there is no metal or metal carbonate over here. So B goes wrong as well. Aqueous ammonia, that is fine. Dilute nitric acid, that is fine. And barium nitrate, no, that is wrong because barium nitrate is being added to test the sulfate or sulfite ions, not chloride ions. You have to remember these. Okay, you have to remember these tests. These tests are only provided in paper 4 or your alternative to practical, but not provided in paper 1 or paper 2. So you have to remember these tests for paper 1 and paper 2.
So these are the tests for ions, cations, right?
Yeah, the test for cations and anions. And one more thing, as you all didn't able to do the paper, you missed the paper 4. So your all the weightage is divided between paper 1 and paper 2. So paper 1 is equally more important now. Yes, these are the tests for cations. When we add a and anion both, because this is aluminium chloride, it have a cation and anion both. So when we add aqueous sodium hydroxide for aluminium ions, aqueous ammonia, that's fine. For aluminium ions, for chloride ion, dilute nitric acid and silver nitrate. Yeah, so that is correct. So our correct answer for question number 4 would be D. Is this clear? Yes, Asad, Abdullah, and Hassan. So Ran, is it clear? Okay. Now, question number 5. Which statement about the methods of purification and analysis is correct? Okay. A liquid that boils over a range of temperature may still be pure, 100% pure. No, we know that if it's a pure substance, then it boil or melt at a fixed temperature, not over the range. An insoluble substance may be separated from water by crystallization. Is this true? Yes. How? It's
No.
already insoluble.
Sir, we have to filter it.
Yeah, we have to just filter it. Yeah, there is no need of crystallization for an insoluble sulfate to be separated. So B goes wrong. Now C. Chromatography may only be used to separate colored substances. Is this correct statement? Because amino acids which are colorless, and then we spray the locating agent to identify their places on the chromatogram. So C goes wrong. Exam point of view, if you figured out A, B, and C are wrong, then you don't have to work on D. Just mark D, save your time, and move to the next question. Okay. Now question number 6. Which change in pressure and temperature would both result in decrease in the volume of the fixed mass of gas? Okay, you have to decrease the volume. So decrease the volume, what you need to do? You need to increase the pressure or decrease the pressure? Okay, good. Pressure would be increased. And what about temperature? And lower the temperature. Yeah, temperature would go at lower temperature, the molecules come closer, and at higher pressure, the molecules come closer. So decrease the pressure in A goes wrong. Decrease the pressure in B goes wrong. Increase the temperature in D goes wrong. So our correct answer is C. Is this clear? Okay. Now question number 7. Which definition of isotope is correct? Atoms of different elements. Here it goes wrong because these are the elements of the same element. Atoms of the same element. Atoms of the same element which have a different number of electrons. No. If the yeah. So C also goes wrong. It means D option is your correct answer because atoms of the same element having the same number of protons or electrons, but the different number of neutrons or nucleons. Okay. Now, question number 8. Which ion has the most shell that contain electron? So, if you look at aluminium, it's 13. Beryllium, it's 1, 2, 3, it's 4. Nitrogen, atomic number is 7, and sulfur is 16. Here it have a 3 positive charge, 2 positive charge, 3 negative charge, and 2 negative charge. So from here I can say it have a 10 electrons. This one have a 2 electrons. This one have a 10 electrons. So see, from here you can easily conclude that all these 3 are wrong. Okay, because they are talking about the most shell, and if we are getting aluminium and sodium nitrogen both the same number of electrons, it means that there are no 2 correct answers, right? There could be only 1 correct answer, and beryllium already have a lesser electron than these 2, so it means you don't save your time again, mark D correct and move on to the next question. So this is the exam point. From the exam point of view, it is the time saving technique. You already figured out that there are 10 and 10. So it makes sense that these 2 are not going to be the answer. And the third one have a two electrons which are already lesser. So it clearly indicates that the left one is the correct one. Is it clear? Yes, Abdullah, Asad, Hassan, and Rayyan.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now question number 9. Which substance conducts electricity both when solid and molten? So they are only a metal, right? So alloy is a mixture of a metal, so it can be answer. A hydrocarbon doesn't conduct electricity in any form. A metal oxide conducts electricity when it's molten, but not in solid. In the same way, a salt conducts electricity when it is molten, but not solid. So A is your correct answer in this case. Is this clear? Now, which substance is an ionic compound? So ammonia, NH3. Both are non-metals, covalent. Calcium chloride, ionic. Ethanoic acid, covalent. Hydrogen chloride, covalent. So B is your correct answer. Yes, Rayyan, Abdullah, Hassan, and Asad, is this understandable?
Yes, sir.
If you guys have any doubt, do ask.
Yes, sir.
Question number 11. The dot and cross diagrams for 4 compounds are shown. Which diagram is correct? Note that only the outer electrons are shown. Okay. If you recall, carbon have a 4 electrons in this outermost shell. I'm just putting the number of electrons in their valence shell. Hydrogen have 1 electron. Okay. So, okay, I will suggest always go for the one which are wrong one first. Okay. 7 electrons, and oxygen have a 6 electrons. So see, in this case, each carbon atom have only 3 electrons. So it means this is wrong, right? If you see, D is also wrong because they have shown 7 electrons for hydrogen. Hydrogen only have a 1 electron in its outermost shell. If you look at C, C also goes wrong because they have shown you only 4 electrons of oxygen instead of being 6 electrons in the outermost shell. So it means A is your correct answer. Yes, is this clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Now question number 12. Element X has a lattice of positive ions and sea of electron. Which property will X have? It conducts electricity by the movement of ions and electrons. Is this correct?
No.
No, because if there are cations, they do not move. Only electrons would move. It has a high melting point. Is this correct?
Yes.
Yes, but I will suggest first go for the next options and make sure which you are thinking is correct is actually the correct one. Because sometimes some statements are like that they appears to be the correct, but they might not be correct. Okay, so it is decomposed by an electric current. Is this correct? If it's a metal, no, metal do not get decomposed by the electric current, and it is not malleable. Is this correct?
No.
Yeah. No, so it is also not correct. So it means what we initially think of is our correct answer. That is B. Now question number 13. A chicken egg has a mass of 60 grams. The eggshell is 10% of the total mass. The eggshell is made from calcium carbonate. What is the mass of calcium in eggshell? Okay, so first we have to find the mass of the eggshell. So if 60 grams constitute the 100%, then the 10% of it would be 6 grams. It means that 6 grams is the mass of shell, and that mass of shell is composed of calcium carbonate. Is this understandable?
Yes, sir.
Everyone. Okay. Now, what we have to find that what is the mass of calcium in the eggshell? So, if you relate calcium carbonate with the calcium, the MR of the calcium carbonate is 100 grams, and out of these 100 grams, the AR of the calcium is 40. So, in 100 grams, there are 40 grams of calcium. Okay. So if it's a 6 gram, then what is the mass of calcium over here? X. So X can be calculated by 6 times 40 divided by 100. So (12/5), which means I think 2.4. Is it 2.4?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so 2.4 grams is the calcium in one eggshell. So the answer is C. Is this understandable to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Question number 14. Ethanol can be made by the reaction shown. Okay. If 5 grams of bromoethane, it's a bromoethane reacting with sodium hydroxide forming ethanol and sodium bromide, produces 1.59 gram of ethanol. Okay. What is the molar percentage yield of ethanol? Just give me a minute, please. Okay. So if we look over here in the equation, what we are observing that 1 mole of bromoethane is producing 1 mole of ethanol. Okay. And they are asking you the molar percentage. So just convert these into the moles first. So if you work for the MR of C2H5Br, it is 12 times 2 makes it 24. 24 plus 5 gives you 29. And I think if anybody confirm me the AR of bromine, it's 80, I suppose. So 29 and 80 would give you 109. That's what I think. Yeah, check. 80. AR. No, the AR, it's atomic number. AR is the 80. See the key. It's 80. So 80 plus 29 would give you 109. Okay. So what is the MR of ethanol over here? 24 plus 630 and 30 plus 16, 46. Okay. So moles of bromoethane would be equal to 5 over 109. Can you tell me the answer? What are the moles? Zero 0.045 moles. Then if you consider the equation, you can see that 1 mole of bromoethane is producing 1 mole of ethanol, which means if we talk theoretically, so theoretically the moles of ethanol produced would also be 0.045 moles, right? But practically we have got the mass of ethanol that is being produced during the reaction, which is 1.59. So the practically the mass that is produced, if I convert it into moles, so it would be 1.59 over 46. That is the MR, right? So can anybody tell me the mole practical value of the moles? Yeah, it's 46. 0.0345. So these are the practical value. So to find the percentage yield, we divide the practical value over theoretical value and times it by 100 to get the percentage. So it would be, I think, 75%. Yeah, because 40, the half of the 45 is 22.5. Just calculate, you will get 75%. So you don't have 76.66, you have a 75. Okay. So it means D is your correct answer. Yes, is this clear? Yes, Rayyan, Abdullah, Hassan, and Asad.
Sir, can you explain it once again?
Okay. See, from the equation, we are observing that 1 mole of bromoethane is producing 1 mole of ethane, right? Did you understand this?
Yes, sir.
So they have used 5 grams of bromoethane, right? What we did, I have converted this 5 gram into moles, and I figured it out that actually 0.045 moles were used. Is this understandable to everyone?
Yes, sir.
So can I conclude that from the equation, if you look at the equation, the mole ratio between bromoethane and ethanol is 1:1, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So it means if there are 0.045 moles of bromoethane, then the ethanol must be produced would be 0.05 only.
Yes, sir.
Is this understandable? So this is my theoretical value that theoretically I can calculate it that if the mole ratio is 1:1, so whatever the moles of bromoethane I would use, the same number of moles of alcohol must produce if there is no error or no impurity. Is this understandable?
Yes, sir.
So, okay, now they have given you the information that during an experiment, 1.59 gram of ethanol is produced. So that is the practical value. During the practical, we got this value. So what we did, we converted this into moles as well. And what we got that the number of moles from the experiment are actually lesser than the moles which can be formed, right? So this is the practical value, and this one is the theoretical value, which means that these are the maximum number of moles that can be produced. Is this understandable?
Yes, sir.
So what we did to find the percentage, we took it in the numerator. We took this theoretical value in the denominator and times it 100. Is it understandable now? Or if still anyone have any confusion, do ask. Yes, Rayyan, Hassan, Abdullah, and Asad.
It's clear, sir.
If still anyone have a confusion, do ask. Okay, now question number 15. An aqueous solution contains 0.01 moles of zinc to positive aqueous ions and 0.01 moles of copper to positive aqueous ions. Aqueous sodium hydroxide is added until in excess. So it will give you blue precipitates, right? And zinc will give you the white precipitate initially, but when the sodium hydroxide get in excess, the precipitate dissolve. So it means white precipitate must have been formed initially, but they dissolve. And these blue precipitate stays. After shaking, the mixture is filtered. When we filtered the mixture, these blue precipitate is separated as a residue, and these zinc ions would come in the filtrate. Till here, is this understandable to everyone? Which remains on filter paper. So 0.01 mole of blue hydroxide, right? This is the correct answer because when we add sodium hydroxide in excess, the blue precipitate doesn't dissolve back. The white precipitates of zinc hydroxide would dissolve back. So A, B, and D are wrong. It is again, relevant to. It is related to the test for cations and anions. So C is the correct answer. I hope everyone understood. If anyone have any doubt, do ask. Now, question number 16. Which arrangement is used to electroplate copper into steel key? So, very good. If we have to electroplate on steel key, so steel key must be at cathode. and copper must be at anode, and the electrolyte would be of copper sulfate or copper nitrate or any copper aqueous compound of a copper, which is water soluble. So these two goes wrong because they have used dilute sulfuric acid instead of a copper sulfate or a copper nitrate. Now, anode would be, as we decided, it's a pure piece of a copper, so B goes wrong. Now, I got the correct answer A. Is this clear? Yes, Hassan, Abdullah, Asad, and Rayyan.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, question number 17. The rate of reaction between calcium carbonate and hydrochloric acid is measured in 3 separate experiments. Okay. In experiment 1, calcium carbonate is powdered and an excess of hydrochloric acid is used. Okay. So it means all the calcium carbonate would dissolve and maximum quantity of carbon dioxide would form. And the rate is high because the calcium carbonate is powdered. The rate would be faster. In experiment 2, calcium carbonate is in lump and excess of hydrochloric acid is used. So it means I can say it's faster and it is slower. The calcium carbonate is in lump, but insufficient hydrochloric acid is used. Just give me a minute, please, everyone. Yes. Okay. So it is also slow, but here, if the calcium hydroxide is insufficient, so reaction must, the decrease in mass would be lesser because all of the calcium carbonate wouldn't dissolve and all of the carbon dioxide wouldn't form. Is this understandable to everyone?
Yes,
The
sir.
results of these are shown, X, Y, and Z, which statement is correct. Experiment 1 is shown by curve X. Is this correct? In experiment 1, the rate is faster because there is a powder and excess of hydrochloric acid, right? So it means that the gradient would be the highest for experiment 1 because gradient is directly proportional to the rate. The more the gradient, the faster would be the rate, right? So it goes wrong. Experiment 1 is shown by curve Y. If you compare curve Y and Z, which one have a greater gradient? Yes. Which curve have a greater gradient? Z or Y? How Y have a greater gradient? C. Z would have a greater gradient. How Y would have a greater gradient? No, you just look at the shape. The more the change you are getting, the more rapid change you are getting in the line, the more the gradient is. So Z would have a, let me tell you, if you compare experiment 1, 2, and 3, this is for experiment 1 and this is for experiment 2. And this is for experiment 3. Because lesser hydrochloric acid, so less decrease in the mass. So experiment B statement is also wrong. Experiment 2 is shown by curve Y. See, I have already told you. Experiment 3 is shown by curve X, curve Z, which is not possible because in experiment 3 there is insufficient hydrochloric acid. So the decrease in mass is not equivalent to experiment 1 or 2. So D goes wrong as well. and your correct answer would be C. Yes, is this understandable to everyone? Question number 17. Yeah. Yes, is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, question number 18. Piece of a zinc are added to copper, aqueous copper to sulfate. Which statement is correct? Okay, if you look, zinc is 2 positive, copper is have a 2 positive charge, and copper turns into a 0 oxidation number. It means a reduction would occur, and if it is reduced, then it is an oxidizing agent. Zinc have a 0 oxidation number and it turns into zinc 2 positive ion, which means oxidation would occur, and it's the reducing agent. Okay. So, A statement, copper to positive ion is oxidized to copper. We have discussed they are reduced to copper. Wrong. Copper to positive ion is reduced to copper by losing electrons. Reduction is a gain of electron. Wrong. Zinc is oxidized to zinc 2 positive by losing electrons. Yes, it's correct. Zinc is reduced to zinc 2 positive ion. Wrong. So, C is your correct answer. Is this clear to everyone? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Question number 19. The oxide of element X react with the acid to form salt. Okay. Which statement about element X or its oxide is correct? So, the salt is formed when acid reacts with the metal oxides. So, X is the metal. If element X oxide, we are using the oxide of the element X, then X must be a metal. So, if it must be a metal, then it conducts electricity. So, this can be a correct answer. But let's justify the rest as a wrong. X is a non-metal, completely wrong. The oxide is gas at room temperature. Metal oxides are ionic compounds. They are solid at room temperature. The oxide is covalent. Again, they are ionic. Okay. So A is your correct answer. Yes, is this clear to everyone? Yes, Abdullah, Rayan, Hassan, and Asad.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, question number 20. Nitrogenous fertilizers promote plant growth and crop yield. Okay. Which compound contains the greatest mass of nitrogen in 100 gram of fertilizer? Yes. How you will do it? You will do it by looking the ratio of their MR with the mass of nitrogen. If you see in this one, there is only one nitrogen. So 14 grams of nitrogen are there. And what would be the MR? Nitrogen is 14, potassium is 39, and 3 oxygen makes it 48. So 48 plus 14, 62. 62 plus 39, 100, 101. So 14 grams in 1 grams. Okay. Here, how many nitrogen are here? 2, which makes 28 gram of nitrogen, and 28 plus 4, 32. 32 plus 48, 80 grams. So see here, 80 gram of this contain 28 gram of nitrogen, and 101 gram is contain 14 grams. So this clearly indicates A goes wrong, because they are asking which have the greatest mass of nitrogen in 100 gram. So it clearly telling us, the ratio is telling me we don't need to calculate further. The ratio is helping out to figure out that the B have a greater mass of nitrogen in 100 gram as compared to option A. Is this understandable? Okay. Now, if you look over here, sulfate is 96, and again there are 2 nitrogen. So 14 grams in 96 plus 14 plus 4, 18, 18, 18, 36, 36 and 96, 120, 120, 132, I assume. 132? So see, 132 gram, sorry, not 1428. So if I take the ratio for the 100 gram, then for 100 gram, the mass would be lesser than 28 gram. So again, it goes wrong. Because here 80 gram have a 28 grams. And there 132 gram have a, yes. In the same way, if you calculate for this one, you will again going to get the, so 28 grams, 36 plus, I'll tell you, 36 plus 64, 100, 100 plus 1, 101, 101 plus 31, 132. So this goes wrong again. So the correct answer would be B for us. These are the simple maths. Okay. Yes, Asad, Abdullah, Rayyan, and Hassan. Is this clear?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Which aqueous reagent liberates ammonia from ammonium nitrate on warming? So, if there is ammonium ion, on adding alkali and heating, the mixture of alkali with the ammonium compound always liberates ammonia gas. And for a nitrate, you need an alkali and aluminum foil. So here you are provided with the alkali in B option, which makes A, C, and D goes wrong, and your correct answer would be B. Yes, is this clear? Okay. Now question number 22. Which statement about sulfuric acid is correct? It is manufactured by heating hydrogen, oxygen, and sulfur together. Not at all. It is used in batteries. Yes, that can be answered. It is used as a detergent. No, it is not used as a detergent. It is used to make detergents. Remember, it is not used as a detergent, but sulfuric acid is used to make detergents sometimes. So C goes wrong. It is used to neutralize alkaline soil. No, we don't use because it's a strong acid. So there is no use using this in the soil. So B is your correct answer. It is used in, it is a battery acid. It normally the car batteries always have sulfuric acid in them. Question number? Yes. You check. You check the notes. 23. The diagram shows part of the periodic table. Which element has the highest proton number and which element has the largest number of valence electrons? So, which one has the largest number of the valence electron? Obviously, the one on the right of the periodic table, and the one which is at the bottom would have the highest number of protons. So, these two goes wrong, and for the highest number of valence electron, this is wrong. So A is wrong, and our correct answer is B. Is this understandable to everyone? Yes, Asad, Hassan, Abdullah, and Rayyan.
Yes, sir.
24. A lump of element X can be cut by knife. Which element is it? Yeah, it means it's from group 1. During its reaction with water, X floats and melt. What is X? So calcium, copper, magnesium. All goes wrong because copper is a transition, magnesium and calcium from group 2. So we left with only one. If you look, you find potassium in group 1 only. So that's why D is the correct answer. This, remember, this property is of group 1 only. Okay. Now, question number 25. Which statement about the properties of some element is correct? All noble gases are unreactive due to having 8 electrons in their outer shell. No, wrong, because the first noble gas is a helium, which have only 2 electrons in its valence shell. All group 7, the group 7 element acetylene is expected to be black solid at room temperature. Yes, because the color goes darker down the group, and iodine is a gray black, so it is expected to be a black solid. But we will further assure the next statements are either wrong or correct. The reactivity of element in both group 1 and group 7 increases down the group. Wrong. For group 1 it is correct. For group 1 down the group reactivity increases, but for group 7 the reactivity decreases. So C goes wrong. When aqueous chlorine is added to aqueous potassium bromide, there is no change in color. So when you add aqueous chlorine to aqueous potassium bromide, potassium chloride would form chlorine, displaces the bromide ion and would form bromine, due to which the solution turns brown. So it is again wrong that no change in color. There must be a change in color over there, and that's why your correct answer is B. Is this clear to everyone? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Abdullah and Rayyan.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Question number 26. Which diagram shows the structure of an alloy? Yeah, very good. Alloy is a mixture of two or more elements, two or more metals, mostly having a different radii of their atoms. So A is the correct answer over here. Question number 27. Which element can only be extracted from its ore using electrolysis? If you recall, we have a list from the reactivity series: potassium, sodium, calcium, magnesium, aluminium, and then we have a carbon. So the elements which are above carbon are actually extracted from their ore through electrolysis. So if you look according to this, B, C, and D goes wrong, and A is your correct answer. Okay. Now, question number 28. The equation shows the reaction taking place in the blast furnace, in which reaction an acidic impurity present in iron ore is removed. So the impurity in the iron ore, if you recall, is silicon dioxide only. So there is only one equation where silicon dioxide is being used. So C, B, and A are actually the processes that occurs during the extraction of the iron metal, but this process does not involve the removal of the impurity. Impurity is reacted by calcium oxide, which is actually obtained from calcium carbonate. So D is your correct answer. Yes, is this clear to everyone? Yes, Rayyan, Abdullah.
Yes, sir.
Sadat. Okay. Now question number 29. Which diagram correctly shows the conditions necessary for rusting of iron and also the metal that can be used to prevent rusting for the sacrificial protection? For the rusting of iron, we need both oxygen and water. And for the sacrificial protection, any element which is above any element above iron in reactivity series can be used. Okay. So here there is oxygen only, no water. So A goes wrong. Again, oxygen only, no water. So B goes wrong. Oxygen and water both are there, but copper, which is below in the reactivity series, so it would not do sacrificial protection. So the leftover is D. So D is your correct answer. Question number 30. In electrolysis of molten aluminum oxide, which statement is correct? The molar ratio of aluminum to oxygen gas formed is 1:2. Is this correct? Right? And for oxygen, there is an oxide ion which turns into oxygen, forming, no, 1 minute, 4 electrons. So see, there are 3 and 4. You have to balance it. To balance it, you have to make it times 4. So 4 aluminium, then there would be 12 electrons and 4 aluminium metal would form. And you have to multiply this with 3. So 3 times 2, 6, 3, and 3 times 4, 12. So see, 4:3, no 1:2. You have to balance the electron in both the equations, then you will get able to get the correct ratio. See, the ratio of the aluminium to oxygen is 4:3, not 1:2. So A goes wrong. Is this clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
The molar ratio of aluminium to oxygen is 3:4. 4:3. Oxygen gas is formed at anode. Yes. Reduction occurs at anode. No, at anode, oxide ions loses their electron and oxidation occur. So C is your correct answer. Okay. Now question number 31. Which rock correctly compares carbon dioxide and methane? Both contain carbon. Methane and carbon dioxide, yes. So C and D goes wrong. Both are described as a greenhouse gas. Yes. So A goes wrong and you have a B correct answer. Okay. Now, question number 32. Seawater is not safe to drink. It can be converted into drinkable water by desalination. What does desalination involve? Boiling water to sterilize it, removing the salt by filtration, removing the salt by distillation. No. Yes. Separating the water by distillation. Yes, because it's evaporated and then condenses back in desalination. So D is your correct answer. Okay. From 33 onwards, we have our organic, and I actually did all 32 questions today because I think I might not be able to take the class tomorrow. But if it's a time, so we can complete these 4 questions, these remaining 7 questions or 8 questions tomorrow, and then the day after tomorrow we will start the new paper. Okay, so we will have a very small session of 20 minutes or a half an hour an online session where we complete these 8 remaining questions if I will be free. Okay. So, okay, take care everyone. Allah Hafiz.